All right, ahoy there, everybody, and welcome back to some more StarCraft Brood War from StarCraft Underground. So this is Brood War tournament number 3, and what we're showing tonight is the series between Quimsy and Navane, which is the winners bracket semifinals. So the winner of this match will go into the finals, and then the loser of this match will go into the losers bracket semifinals to then fight again for an opportunity to get into the finals. So right now, who we have playing? We've got Quimsy as the Terran, the blue Terran here in the bottom left. And we've got Navane as the red Protoss here in the top left. The map that we've got going on today is, shoot, I forgot what it was called. What are we on, Radeon? 4-player map, one in each corner, with a natural expansion that's relatively easily defended with a narrow choke and a couple of eggs, right? Something to note are kind of these bridges, these crossing points. They go into the more naturally taken third base. And then in the middle of the 12 and 6 o'clock position, we have additional expansions, right? So that's kind of how it ends up working, the flow of play. And we also have a very large central area that allows for a lot of, movement, directions of attack, etc. So we'll have to see how these players end up maximizing on that. But up until then, just a shameless plug. If you have not heard of StarCraft Underground, that I have no idea how you found this YouTube channel. And if you have joined StarCraft Underground, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe if you like what it's all about. Try to get a little bit more reach. It is growing pretty rapidly and has been a really good time. But essentially what it is it's a casual tournament. We host Brood War tournaments, StarCraft 2 tournaments, and essentially, every time you're matched up in a bracket, you have 1 week to accomplish that match. So it's been very flexible. People have been getting a lot of games in, and it's a community that's been a lot of fun to hang out with. So right now we do have just pretty much standard openings, right? Quimsy's down here getting a barracks, 2 supply depots, gas, pretty standard stuff. I wouldn't be shocked if here coming up soon we saw a couple of these SCVs come off gas and go towards an expansion. Both players are opting to scout the opposite corners horizontally, and we'll see if they do cross scout after that, or if they go straight towards each other's bases. Now, one thing I do want to note on this map, and I'm curious if it's going to happen, sometimes with the scouting pattern, the fog of war makes it look like a giant angry rabbit. So we'll see if that happens again here, but just a fun little detail that I like about this map. Protoss player has done a gateway and a cybernetics core. Probably see some early Dragoon play and the good old-fashioned dance of Dragoons coming in, shooting bunkers, bunkers being repaired, so on and so forth. Now, Quimsy did actually make his way into Navane's base, where Navane has scouted the opposite corner. So 3 Marines have been made. Looks like the factory is getting started here. Almost completed, and we are going straight into Dragoon range. So pretty standard play by both players. This SCV still actually standing alive. Bunker going down, and a Dragoon about to walk across to do our time-honored tradition of the Dragoon shooting the bunker dance that everyone has come to love so much in a good TVP. Dragoon does end up taking out this SCV. No more scouting for him, but he probably did see this coming up, which means, hey, there's Dragoon range coming, which may in turn inspire Quimsy to go a little bit earlier tank. Maybe skip the whole Vulture play and go straight into getting siege mode. Now, just hit 400 minerals. We're going to see an expansion here from our Terran player and Navane up here in the top left, getting that Nexus down. You have 2 Dragoons going to be showing up simultaneously. A full bunker, though. And Dragoon range isn't quite there yet, but it's almost completed. And once it is, they'll start plinking away. Have gone straight into tank production, which is probably a good idea, especially with what we've seen so far. Tank's going to be able to come down here. It's going to be able to shoot these Dragoons while they're in range. Quimsy, aggressively defending this, popping the Marines out, getting some additional shots, getting a little bit of hull damage on this Dragoon here on the right. And Navane just placing down a second gateway and getting a robo facility. Now we have seen Navane play in other casts, and we do know that he does like going Reaver. So would not be a surprise to me if we start seeing some Reaver drops onto Quimsy's main, especially with how these bases have kind of lined up. So tank showing up does encourage Navain to bring his Dragoons back, one of which is only like a shot or two from being killed. Still no siege as of yet, but a second siege tank is on the way. And then engineering bay down here as well to start getting some turrets. Right, around that 6-minute mark, you really want to have turrets up against a Protoss player just to protect against any type of, DT drop, Reaver drop, drops in general. Increased Dragoon production, observatory going down, and here we go, 2-tank push. Let's see what Quimsy can make of this, and right now, it actually looks like it should be able to hit with quite a punch. 2 more Dragoons back here, a third one popping out, more in production are here for the defense. Another pylon being constructed. And we'll see what this can get done. Siege isn't done yet, right? Siege is about to come up. We haven't seen, instead of seeing like Reavers, we are seeing observers being built as we're still waiting for a, robotic support bay. And these siege tanks are probably going to be able to eliminate this wall, right? But it's buying time. It's buying time for our Protoss player who's getting a shuttle now to start lifting either the main and natural of Quimsy or to sneak around behind this push. So 2 more factories going down, being constructed for our Terran player, and a bunker being built right here in the natural. This entire wall is going to be eliminated. Another bunker attempting to be leapfrogged forward. I'm kind of surprised that SCV survived, bringing up a healthy one. But even then, these Dragoons moving forward, target firing this tank. The tank is down. That's a good pick. If Navain can get this second tank, he may be able to stall out this attack from Quimsy. There's not much in the form of reinforcements being moved forward. Barracks eBay going for a little float, get some vision. Now these Dragoons need to move. They're just getting pelted by this tank. And the Dragoons are starting to push in. They're going to be able to get this tank. If they target fire it, it will go down. Zealot gets dropped right on top of it. And they're going to start attacking this bunker. Now 4 Dragoons, way too much for 1 SCV of repairing to handle. And there's 4 Marines in here, but that's not enough. Equal numbers to the Dragoons. Ooh, but I actually forgot about this other bunker, but it's going to go down as well. And this was a pretty expensive commit. Now, there were Dragoons that went down that were eliminated. But right now, Navain and Quimsy, I would say, are on pretty equal footing. This Vulture is just going to run up and die. I don't think, yeah, Mines is just now being researched. More gateways in production. And a probe heading out. I would not be shocked if this became an expansion up here in the middle. Navain has a ton of cash, and we're going to start seeing those being converted. I wouldn't be surprised as well if we just started seeing a lot of Zealots being dropped. I think the shuttle is still around, right? Yeah, shuttle's still around. A lot of minerals to spend. And they all just went into something. Oh, okay, yeah, the Nexus. Nexus, 3 pylons, good to go. Forge being constructed. Starting to get +1 vehicle weapons. We're transitioning to 5 factories. We've got SCVs going out and about. Now, I imagine this guy here is just going to scout to see if this has happened. And this is all because the Academy is not done yet, right? Academy is not complete yet for Quimsy. So instead of just an easy scan and kerplunk, this SCV is going to have to come up here to check manually, and does go in, sees that that base is being constructed and not finished yet, and these Dragoons are going to just kind of shark around and maybe get rid of that SCV. Now, another SCV over here, I wouldn't be shocked if this became kind of like a hidden base, just getting a third up in an obscure location while keeping pressure on. Maybe even this one. Yeah, we do see a 3rd command center go down there. And we see a Vultures start to take some map space. Now, the Observer here is going to prevent any mines from being too detrimental to these Dragoons moving around. But it is super annoying for a Protoss player to have to always worry about these mines. and maintain like an observer presence. Quimsy responsibly checking this base, probably going to drop some mines right here so a Nexus can't to go down very easily. A whole bunch of mines, look at that. And I don't think a run by would get too much done, but if these go straight into the base and target fire the probes, definitely a couple will get killed, right? I think there's, what, one Dragoon up here. Great mines. It's going to delay the movement of these Dragoons to get up there. And yeah, looks like Nevain's going to actually lose a decent amount of probes to these Vultures. Now, they'll get cleaned up, but I think Quimsy's doing everything that that he should be doing, right? Getting in here, doing some economic damage, all the while getting a third and potentially a fourth base of his own. Okay, Vultures have been destroyed. Ooh, nice little mine. Did end up taking a Dragoon to low health. And now all the probes are sitting here. They're going to have to do a little bit of a transfer, kind of balance this out. These Vultures are going to get... Oh my gosh! I thought these were going back to the main base! These Vultures are going to massacre this probe transfer that was intended for the third. And these mines... Ugh. Vultures. They're so annoying. More mines. They'll be cleaned up, but it's really just keeping these Dragoons busy. But even with them being kept busy, right, like this is still a pretty powerful force. And so it looks like if Nevain tries to kind of push, there's not a whole lot here. Oh, I take that back. A lot of tanks. Okay. It's been a while since we've looked at the Terran base. What else we got going on? We got some drop play about to start, which I think after peeking at this base, you know, there's some really juicy spots to maybe drop some tanks. Now, there's a cannon there now, but that would have been a cool spot to get some tanks, just because it's so difficult to approach with all these clunky Dragoons. Vultures just beelining by, trying to get these probes. I like these Vultures sitting here with these mines. See, like, there's no observer here at this moment, so these Dragoons have to just kind of hold what they got. And they're going to get blown up by these. These mines are going to walk right up, knock them out. We've got that secret third base getting up and running for Quimsy. And this is turning into a nice, healthy, long game. Dropship's going to be shipping some tanks over there for defense. Discreetly. You don't want to just send those right through the middle of the map where all these Dragoons are dancing about. And definitely with the knowledge that there's, you know, observers on the field. And it looks like Quimsy's very comfortable with just sending wave after wave of these Vultures out. Drop some mines, maybe go get some probes. Really trying to take kind of like a battle of attrition. And what I also really like about this play is that these mines are giving so much vision, right? So like, he knows there's nothing going on up in these other bases. He knows that Nevain has not expanded to a fourth as of yet. And as a Protoss player, you really do want to kind of maintain at least one base lead over your Terran opponent. Otherwise, they're going to start getting an economic lead over you. Now, I am a little bit surprised. I thought this dropship was going to drop those tanks as kind of like defense. But it does look like it's going to drop up here to this third base. Now, if these tanks can knock out these cannons, which there are 3, but only 1 shooting at them now, and these probes are going to start coming up here. I think with some micro, right, like pick up this tank. Yeah, there we go, Quimsy. Drop it again when the other one's being targeted. Oh my gosh, look at that. In between the cannon shots. Really maximizing the amount of damage that these tanks are doing. And there's no way in. There's mines here. His own pylons would block him. Okay, well, finally the micro luck ran out. And these tanks will be cleaned up primarily by probes. But wow, how annoying was that? And these mines knocking out those zealots. Very cool play. Now, while all of that was going on, we do have these Vultures going around the outside. Around the outside? Yes, around the outside. Heading over here to the left. Looking for some more run-bys, but really just putting more and more of these amazingly annoying mines everywhere. This base, still unpunished, doing its thing. Now, at this point, I'm going to start worrying for Nevain, right? So, like, I think things were pretty even up until about that siege drop, right? And really up until about a couple minutes ago, where Nevain hadn't gotten a fourth yet. So Nevain has a lot of gateways, has a lot of zealots now, which is great. Getting armor upgrades, what other upgrades do we got going on? We definitely have +1 ground and range, but I think falling behind a little bit on the economy, right? So we do have that starting up now. So if Navain can get this 4th base and prevent this one from sticking or going for a rapid 5th, then I think he'll be okay. But right now, these vultures have done a pretty astounding job of keeping Navain at bay, and then also just chipping away at these probes, right? We're at 45 probes to 62 SCVs. And now we're getting at the point where the Terran is taking up a lot of space with these siege tanks. And I think honestly we need some sort of tech up, right? We need, for the Protest player, either Storms or Reavers to start doing some massive splash damage, either in the form of hitting the economy with like storm drops or something, or in the form of knocking out some of these tanks. Full of zealots. This base got saturated very quickly. Definitely a lot of SCVs probably coming from the main. And Navain's doing a really good job of just owning the middle, right? Kind of pulling back right now, but definitely knows that, like, hey, this bridge and this choke, those are really key pieces of terrain at the moment. Like, if Quimsy is able to push out with a bunch of tanks and start securing this kind of like mirrored location on the Protoss side, that will be the end of Navain. Right now, Navain, I think, was anticipating this base to have been taken, but is realizing it's not. So that might inspire some looking around, right? So, shuttle poking over here, not seeing anything. Dragoons kind of spreading all over. We have Comsats going down. I think this might be signaling a potential push coming from our Terran player. Terran is at 184 of 184, just a little supply block at the moment, but once that supply block comes undone just here in a second, we're going to see a surge of units, and once maxed out, I think we're going to start seeing a lot of pushing. Now, these vultures being annoying up here did kill that probe that was chilling and drop some mines in the Nexus, potential Nexus location. So, still sitting on 3 bases for Navain. The now, what, 4? 5? 1, 2, 3, 4 for Quimsy. This is a big force. Now, the question is going to come down, how is Quimsy going to control this? It does look like he is opting to do maybe some drops. There's a vulture run by. Great timing as well. Sneaking around the left side. There's not much here, right? Great mine usage is going to knock out the Dragoon and starting to plink away on these probes. It is going to pull the entirety of the Protoss army back. Now, Quimsy, being maxed out, is starting to build up quite a large bank, right? Using this time and these funds to start getting upgrades, additional upgrades. And Quimsy is building a force that is potentially game-ending. This is very, very scary. Now, Navain hasn't been sitting idle. Navain has gotten up here, started a 4th, and has a very large army of his own. But here comes some dropships. Looks like 2 tanks, 4 tanks total. These zealots are running out at just the wrong time. These are going to siege up. They're on the production, but these, I feel like if the zealots get in... Ooh, okay. So we do finally have like a tech up. We have a storm capability. And also, we're seeing the arbiters and the stasis come out. That is a great tech up choice as well. Especially with the very obviously tank heavy play. I mean, Terrans are basically just tanks. Like, that's all they do. That's why they're awesome. So a horde of zealots and dragoons, and really the entirety of the Protoss army is going to come up here and wipe that out. But that is going to give time for Quimsy to move out into the middle of the base. With the Protoss army being out of position like that, that is the window of opportunity that Quimsy needed to expand out into the middle of the map. Tons of tanks, tons of vultures, good amount of Goliaths to shoot down any of these potential dropships. Zealot bombs are going to be coming through, but the shuttles are getting knocked out. And the supply is tanking right now for Nivane. I think this engagement is definitely in the favor of Quimsy. And yeah, this is just a tough, scrappy fight right here. Nivane, in the meantime, getting another expansion. Continuing to try to keep up from an economic standpoint. Scans going down. This big spread, an intentional spread to get that maximum surface area. And the Zealots are getting in there and are getting on top of the siege tanks, but there are so many vultures. And this bank that Quimsy has acquired is going to allow him to sit up here, as you can see in the production side, and just max on these productions. Now, Arbiter has made itself known. One Goliath here. And no science vessels or detection as of yet. We see a science vessel being constructed, being built, along with EMP. And also, I saw the High Templar earlier, and I actually thought Storm was already done. But I guess it's only now just being completed. So that, combined with Stasis, will be very helpful in trying to push away this Terran force. But the Terran army is just so big. Being rebuilt. Find out main base, essentially, for both sides. And this is where the majority of the focus is right now. Now, this is going to lock down the main base, right? And there's no gateways at these other bases, right? So 100% of the production is coming from the main. And that is going to effectively cut the Protoss player off from defending this third. And we're at the point, like we just looked, minerals are becoming short everywhere else. So the more valuable bases to maintain are these third, fourth, fifth bases that actually have the minerals. Now, a good sneak around from our Protoss player is going to be able to hit this Terran army on kind of the point perpendicularly, minimize the tank shots coming in, combined with the Arbiter providing cloak for everything. I think we're about to see some massive storms. One storm goes down, 2, 3 storms go down. All these tanks being caught in it, they're getting annihilated. This is a good reaction from Nivane. And Nivane's taking casualties too. Definitely not out of the woods yet. There's what, like 4 Protoss units here? We have a lone Arbiter taking the fight, the good fight to the tanks. You know, one Arbiter can kill an infinite amount of tanks if left alone. So, just needs a little bit of time to do it. But the production, I think, is just a little bit too much for Nivane, right? Or I'm sorry, for Quimsy right now. Right now we're seeing 3 tanks. There was 2 Vultures and a Goliath all being made at once. And Nivane's not going to be able to keep up with the bank that he has, right? I think he's being starved out a little bit. I think these needed to be up and running a little bit earlier. But I think with all of his probes being locked behind this wall of siege tanks, this just isn't going to be able to catch up, right? It might not even be a bad idea to start shuttling them across. I think there was some shuttles around. Get the probes out of there. But honestly, I think right now the strategy is break this, right? Annihilate these tanks and actually just open a path and retake the top half of the map. But with that, I mean, there's just 200 to 50, right? Huge bank, huge production. This might be it for Nivane. And it is. So Nivane's going to throw in the towel, and that was game 1. All right, so we're going to move on to game 2 of this series. Great games by Quimsy and Nivane. So Quimsy will take the series 1-0. Moving into game 2, we have Quimsy versus Nivane on Metropolis. Whew, that was a nice long game. All right, so Metropolis. 4-player map. 1, 2, 3, 4. We saw last game both Nivane, our top red, or I'm sorry, our red Protoss in the top right, and Quimsy, our blue Terran in the bottom right, both had a good amount of drop play, right? It definitely seemed to be the way that Quimsy would like to get past kind of like the cannon defenses, the wall-ins that was being stacked up at Nivane's third base. And then also drops being kind of the primary method for breaking those siege tank lines, right? We saw a lot of zealot bombs, so to speak, coming from Navane, and they were proving pretty effective. I don't know what they're talking about. I think the game started a little unexpectedly. But anyway, yeah, so back to Metropolis. Metropolis, and speaking of the drop play, that's right. I lost my train of thought there. But drop play plays such a big deal on this map, especially with the rotational symmetry, because of this huge annoying area and this huge area behind the minerals at the natural, right? So, for example, if Quimsy decides to go drops, and he says, hey, I want to drop some siege tanks right on top of Navane's base, or sneak them in, he could just drop straight here, right? Because of where Navane is spawned. If Navane had spawned in the bottom left, then Quimsy would have to fly them all the way around, get them up here, and it would likely fly in the path of this. But because of the way that this is set up, if Quimsy does want to do some drops, he'll be able to drop some siege tanks right up on here and just bombard this natural. So I'll be very curious to see if that happens. On the flip side, Reaver drops, right? If Navane wants to do some Reaver drops, which we've seen him do in other casts before, this is a great spot for some Reavers, right? There's even gaps in the minerals. You can shoot them. The Scarabs will path through and be pretty effective. So anyway, this map, whenever we cast Metropolis and I talk about Metropolis, I always like to point out the drop opportunities because they're so powerful. They can be so powerful. Okay, so scouting patterns, we have Quimsy kind of going clockwise. Isn't going to be seeing Navane right off the bat. Navane also opting to go clockwise is going to see Quimsy. He's also going to be noticing that there's nothing weird, right? Barracks, 2 supply depot, gas, very standard, very what we saw last game. Same thing for Navane, right? So instead of just like a gateway expand or double gateway and do a bunch of zealots, we are seeing just gateway, cybercore. Navane, we've seen, does a lot of, go straight to Dragoon, get Dragoon range, shoot the Terran's bunker a million times. Terran likes to repair it. Good old-fashioned TVP nonsense. It does look like Quimsy is going to take the moment to mine these minerals. And I think this is probably based on the fact that the probe found him right off the bat, and he hadn't found Navane's base, right? So I was talking about like different build variations, right? So like if this was a double gateway, straight into like multiple zealots marching straight across the map, this could be really dangerous, right? So opting to wall it off until he has a better idea of what's going on does make some sense to me. SCV is going to roll in here, sees the Dragoon pop out, sees that there's no crazy funny business going on, and I imagine I'm just going to go on a hunch that maybe these might move, and we'll see kind of just a normal kind of expansion from here. But you know what? I'm completely wrong. I am completely wrong. He is going straight into 2 factories. So I think we are going to see kind of a mixture, probably around like 6-ish Marines, and then we'll see if he goes straight into tanks. We'll see probably a 2-tank or 3-tank push. We'll get a tank here, this will get a machine shop, then 2 more tanks, and then he'll go. Now the high ground is going to help a little bit here for these Marines. 1 Dragoon is still actually pretty scary though, but the vision just isn't going to be able to allow him to really shoot these SCVs for free. Yep, so we are going tanks, right? And he's also getting mines. So what he'll probably do, if I'm not mistaken, he'll probably get a tank, machine shop, 2 tanks, and then he'll rally vultures and mines to like a 3-tank push, but I'm already wrong, right? So he's going tanks and vultures, and we'll just see a nice mix as he goes forward. Bunch of supply depots going down. No indication that he has any desire to expand in the near future. Because the Dragoon couldn't get in, right? So like Navane doesn't know what's going on in there. All he knows is that Quimsy hasn't expanded yet. And so he's very smartly putting his Dragoon over here in that giant open space I mentioned to just keep an eye out, right? Like, is there a barracks floating over here that's going to land and make fire bats or something crazy? Very important to check for. Okay, so we're doing a 1-tank push. So 4 Marines, 1 tank, and a vulture with mines. We're going to see him drop mines right behind this Dragoon. Oh, such a cool technique. So basically, this is pushing. These are retreating. If he was able to get those mines like more over in this path, That would have been so much fun, right? Hit the retreating Dragoons and then just clean them up with this. But I actually think Navain's got this. I don't think that this is really enough to do any type of catastrophic damage. We're going to see the Vulture come up here through this third base. Wouldn't be shocked if he drops some mines up there. But Navain probably knows he needs to defend this choke. This choke right here is so powerful for a Terran that can get some siege tanks. It just shuts everything down, especially if they get access to this third. So this is a very tight intersection, and you definitely want to maintain control of it. Okay, Dragoons are going to clean up that Vulture. It got like one probe, no big deal. And right now, Navain has the opportunity to really start taking an economic lead. So with this setup that Quimsy is kind of established for himself, he needs to start getting damage in. Otherwise, he's going to start getting overtaken by Navain just having these two bases for too long without another expansion. So even with that being said, he did the push and everything. He's still being responsible. He's getting some turrets up. Knows that drop play is very feasible. Now, drop play is not coming in for Navain. We know that. He opted to go Observer instead of going like fast Reavers or something like that. So we do have some time. And Navain's just going to sit here. Also, I like this pylon, right? Get that early warning. Even the engineering bay is coming over here, right, to sit. See, I'm not crazy. This map's nuts. That huge area is just so juicy for drops. Okay, now Navain is watching this whole army push. Ooh, Dragoons are split, and they're going to be able to come at this push from two different angles. Pulling a couple of probes, but they do go down to splash damage pretty quick. And it's going to get these tanks, right? Good job with knocking these mines out and not losing these huge clumps of drones unnecessarily. Or not drones, Dragoons. And that was cleaned up very nicely. Right now, Navain, I would say, is handedly in the lead, right? Expansion just now dropped for Quimsy. Protoss up almost 30 supply. Well, I guess 20. You know, math in public, etc. And now we have dropships out. Navain, going to take the opportunity to get that economic lead. I like this for Navain. Win ahead. Get more ahead. Always a good strategy. Surprise! There's mines. Surprise! There's more mines. Interesting. I'm kind of curious what's going on over here. You know, last game we did see Quimsy kind of go all the way across the map, get a secret base up-ish, right? Like that was his third. I think Quimsy, if he doesn't go for some sort of early heavy damage to be dealt to Navain, we may see some kind of risky play like that again, right? Like some sort of double expand or something where he can try to catch up economically. But I keep saying, like, economically behind and stuff. He's still got 34 to 41 workers. It's not bad, right? He's getting a good transfer. This is coming up. This is still really hard to break. So even though Navain, I would say, is ahead right now, I don't think it's like an astronomical lead. Stargate and Forge going down. Ooh, Vulture slipping right in here, saying, what's up? Probably going to kill this probe. Boom. Probe dead. Vulture not long for this world. Sitting at 4 gateways, robotics facility, 3 zealots with legs being generated. Navain very comfortable with sitting on large gateway armies for a long time, which is standard, right? Like it's nothing weird. And we were mentioning kind of like before the game really even kicked off, right? Like when it comes to drop play, Navain has showed that he really does like the method of like zealots with legs as kind of the anti-siege tank. Now this area coming into play, right? So not just droppable, but Vulture drivable. Now there was another mineral patch right here, if I'm not mistaken, and that got mined out, right? So an even increased path for these Vultures to come in and just be wildly annoying. So great catch by Quimsy there to get those snuck in. Now Quimsy trying to power up as fast as possible, right? Trying to get to 5 factories. Once this gets saturated with this gas, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a second machine shop go down. But right now, I think Quimsy's a little nervous that there might be some incoming drops, right? That's why we're seeing a lot of these mines at home, right? So like if the Protoss drop does come in, the mines will blow up in the Reaver's face or the Dark Templar's face or whatever it may be. And he's also getting some of these Goliaths along with Goliath range. Vulture's still snooping and pooping. This is very good by Quimsy, and I'm definitely taking note of this because this is something I struggle with as a Terran player while trying to get production up and siege tank positioning and all this stuff, but is being active on the map with these Vultures and just maintaining good scouting and map awareness of what's going on, where the Protoss is, if they're going to be staging any type of drops or taking these main bases. Like, he's doing a really good job of that. The only thing I would probably do as well is maybe drop a mine or two. Right, so maybe you don't need to drive over there every time. The mines will provide some vision. Get that going. Okay, so coming up on the high ground. So the intersection that we were talking about up here, right, that is so powerful, the mirrored version of that is this entire minefield that Quimsy has set up. Oh, and these Vultures are going to come up here and see it. See, like that is the power of the Vulture map awareness, right? So now Quimsy knows, okay, hey, Protoss is sharking about out here. And he's going to try and maybe take this as an opportunity to sneak in. We saw a lot of Vulture run-bys in the last game. But he is going to run into this pylon wall. And he's going to be shooed off. Oh, he did end up dropping mines. Good. So that should help, you know, prevent the need to go out there with a trio of Vultures every time. If a Nexus is being constructed or any type of army movement or drop is going to fly over. I mean, mines don't have the greatest vision, but at least it is passive, static vision, and might even get a kill if he's lucky. So this seems to be a little bit of a... I don't know if Nevane's waiting for something specifically. He is getting High Templar, but this looks very similar to what we saw last game, where once the Terran gets really entrenched, Nevane has a little bit of a tough time breaking through it. And again, that position right there being utilized very well by Quimsy. And you know what? Nevane's just like, shut up, I'm done with this, and throws down a couple of cannons. Don't blame him at all. That's also going to protect from any potential future drops, right? Which you still need to be cognizant and careful about. So I do want to take a second here and look at what's going on with Terran. So Terran is about to venture off and get a third, which means that Protoss should probably be getting a fourth here rather soon. We do see that second machine shop. Looks like there's a little bit of rearranging so that they can fit through these factories. Got a 6th factory. And we are getting the science facility, right? So we are getting towards those +2/+2 upgrades, and the science facility will be needed for that. Now we do have an engagement here in the middle of the map. Almost missed it, but a bunch of Vultures. So again, a little bit of a replay of last game. So as Quimsy starts powering up, starts getting that economy going, and is taking that 3rd expansion, we saw him start doing this as well, where he got basically a control group of Vultures and just started being wildly irritating with it. Just running around, dropping tons of mines, trying to sneak in, do some backstabs. And he might get in a little bit, but you know what? This time, Nevane is prepared, right? Cannons at every base. They're not going to last long. Might get some mines down, sure, but observers are everywhere. It's not going to be terribly, terribly impactful. Yeah, see, cannons are just doing a good job. He'll get a couple probes here and there, but we are getting that 4th base, right? And that's the power of the mine, baby. Look, I think that probe was about to try to do a Nexus, but now we have to wait. We have to get some sort of detection over there. And we have to eliminate that mine without losing units. 1 mine. Comes free. 75 minerals, 3 mines. Vultures are awesome. Very annoying. Alright, Dragoon snooping and pooping, making sure there's no expansion up here on the high ground. eBay, taking a peek. Now this command center is still waiting, right? So Quimsy, he ran out with the Vultures, but he needs to clear this first. He's going to probably clear this. Wouldn't be surprised if he dropped mines down here or maybe even up here. We do see Firm opting to drop them up here. And he's opting to defend this with units, right? So probably a good decision. Another way that I've seen this done several times is, right, like a Goliath primary. So like mines, Goliaths, maybe a couple of turrets, and then drop the command center. But he's just bringing his whole army up. Like, hey, I'm going to hold this. There's plenty down here to hold against a pretty significant push. So I actually like this. I probably prefer this method than just dropping a couple of turrets. Especially when you know that this army is pretty big and it's sharking around. I don't see any observer. Oh, there it is. Good positioning. See, like, if I was Navain, I know without a doubt I would have just ran into those mines and lost like 9 Dragoons. But Navain, I think, is still sitting in a pretty good position. And we have Arbiters on the field. So we're going to see a lot of Cloak. Science Vessel, great timing. Showing up just in time. Is that recall? Yes, it is. So with a map that's, you know, very drop-centric, obviously it makes recall very effective. Oh, missed it. Blown up. All right, here we go. A little bit of... Ooh, that sucks. Losing a couple Dragoons off the bat like that is just such a pain in the butt. Now, ooh, Zealots running in, trying to drag these mines. Is he going to drag it? Oh, that was so close to dragging and knocking out those 2 tanks that are just getting so much shots. Oh, man, these tanks on the high ground absolutely punishing this Protoss army. Okay, I think right now we are sitting at a pretty even field. So, like, Navain had a little bit of a lead. I think right then and there, that was a step back for Navain. Now, if Quimsy can maintain this base, he'll be able to continue to kind of stretch this lead. Right now, 10 Zealots being built at a time, combined with the Arbiter. Now, what does our Goliath count look like? Plenty of Goliaths. We got 4 or 5 Goliaths sitting here at the main defense point 6. Not much up here, though, right? And there's only 1 turret. So if there was actually a juicy Arbiter target, it would be right here. Like, recall like into this. Now, yeah, mines suck. That's a bummer. But maybe throw some, like, Zealots up in there? I don't know. Not an expert, but I feel like this is a target that would actually be very valuable to smack down. All right, Vulture's moving out. Probably going to replenish these mines. Quimsy probably realizing this is also kind of a weak point, but also using it as kind of the main avenue of attack, right? Instead of trying to break this, just set up this defense, have these tanks on the high ground that are doing so much. Like, the range is insane. And just funnel units up this way. And the great thing for this for the Protoss player is that these expansions up here in the top left, they're going to be strong. They're going to be effective. Protoss is sitting here maxed out, right? I still don't see a science vessel. Huge stasis. Huge storms. Oh my gosh, I feel like this engagement is going so well for our Protoss player. Now the scans are going down. They are picking up these units. But these stasis just last for so long, and those storms were so powerful. More storms. Unfortunately, killing more Zealots than I think Vultures. Okay, and now the Science Vessel showed up. A little bit of a late EMP, but these Zealots tanking a lot of these Zealots. Or, I'm sorry, these Zealots tanking a lot of these mines. Along with these observers. Wow, this was just a really big push. And I'm glad that Navain opted to take this base, because it validates that my idea might not have been terrible. That this right here is the target that needed to be hit, and that could have been hit. Now, not much remaining here for the Protoss army. I think overextending just a little bit. I think maybe taking this high ground and holding it might have been more effective in the moment. But there's also nothing that shoots air. So this Arbiter is just kind of like chilling. I don't see any Goliaths, none being produced at the moment. And Quimsy knocking out some of these reinforcements, right? Trying to seal this off again. Try to, like, use this as like a fire door. Ooh, Arbiter does go down. There was a Goliath that showed up. And it's being repaired. Look at this. Just tanking all the shots. That was insane. That was a very cool tactical move there by Quimsy. Just repairing that Goliath. It was eating the Dragoon shots while these tanks cleaned it up. But, okay, Navain did take the base. I think Navain ahead again. Right? I think the power has shifted to Navain, but Navain needs to continue the pressure, right? Needs to capitalize on the slow production speed of our Terran player and the economy advantage that he has. Now, this is where Quimsy's going to try to get ahead, right? He's going to bring in a CC over here. Is that the one from the main? No. Oh, did he just lift it off? I thought it died. Okay. So less impactful, but still a big deal, right? So that's going to get dropped here. It's going to take a 4th. And right now, Nevane's sitting on 5. So pretty standard state. Nevane's still with a supply lead both in workers and overall. Pretty good defenses set up with the cannons that will help against those vulture harass that we know we're going to see, right? Vultures everywhere. Ooh, and the Zealot sees it. Okay. Now, what I'd like to kind of see... Perfect. There it is. I was going to say, last game, we didn't see a split in production, right? So, like, everything was coming out of one base, and it got sealed off, just like we're seeing here, right? Terran has completely sealed this area, and it's going to need to be busted. But at least this time, our Protoss player can continue producing on the other side of the map. Huge stasises. 2 Arbiters, not being EMP'd, by the way. So the EMP last time was targeted on the High Templar. I think that's still kind of the focus for Quimsy. And so this Arbiter has tons of energy left to continue doing some of these stasis and stuff. I don't remember how much energy it takes, but with this many Arbiters, like, it's gonna be a challenge here for Quimsy to break the... Nevane is cooking. He is doing some great work. And I think these, you know, we gotta wait for the stasis field to drop so that they can be damaged. Don't want to forget them either and just, like, run by. Okay, so stasis drops. Zealots are gonna get on top of it. They're gonna knock these out real fast. But a couple of Dragoons do go down. Probably would have been nice to just kind of surround it with some Zealots. And we're starting to see some Goliath production again, right? We're starting to see a lot of Arbiters. And the annoying thing about seeing a lot of Arbiters is you need to respect that, one, they make the tactical situation really rough with the stasis on the tanks, the fact that they can shoot even though they're air. The recall, though, that's something that cannot be ignored. And you see all these turrets and stuff as well. So Quimsy's trying to fight and hold the front, but like the ace up the sleeve for Nevane is that if he could always, you know, just slip an Arbiter by, he can drop a whole Protoss army in your base. And Terran bases at this stage in the game are basically mazes. Like, look at this. Look at all these buildings everywhere. Look at this supply depot farm. So, tough to get units back there to defend is the point. Alright, Natural and Main completely mined out. Quimsy needs this base, and he needs this base to be untouched. And right now, this one is the one in Nevane's sights. Now, these Goliaths are going to start doing work on these Arbiters, though. I don't know. I kind of would have liked a little bit more to come up and prevent that much damage. I think he did lose 1. And I'm also a little surprised to see no turrets. I think he was trying to just sneak this in. But there was a lot of attention and a lot of fight going on kind of up here in the main as well. Also, what's up here? Okay, this is primarily mines. No observer, so a lot of Zealots just eating these, taking them straight to the face. But some Goliaths going down as well. And honestly, I think Nevane can take a lot of these inefficient fights, right? As long as he's continuing to push forward and eliminate army from Quimsy, right? Like, I think right now, the ability to eliminate tanks is a big deal. And forcing Goliaths means less tanks as well. Oof. The Arbiters have been going down a little too easy. Definitely don't want to see them dying so fast. And Arbiters do what, like 0 damage? You got 10 damage. These are 3-3. Or 3-2, rather. Okay. Nevane's army was pretty much destroyed. But the damage wasn't insignificant, right? There's 38 workers for our Terran player. And that's effectively being mined off 2 bases, both of which are really struggling to be held, right? So Quimsy's on the defensive. He has to split his army and his force between both of these bases. He's not in a position to really move out and attack, but he has to, right? His hand is being a little forced to try to contain and slow down the Protoss and ideally get up into this economy powerhouse that's happening up here. So he's taking the first step towards that and trying to mess up this base. This isn't really going to be effective, though. We'll see if he can drop some mines, but even then, there's observers. There's, you know, the continued production of the Arbiters is going to continue to be a thorn in Quimsy's side. And this is a really long game. My throat's like hurting from talking this much. Time to drink some beverage. All right. Okay, and Navane defends this, right? So the 9 o'clock is healthy. We got 2 ships passing in the night. And even if these vultures get in, like, they're not going to do anything. But this is still the move that Navane needs to do. The biggest thing that these vultures are doing right now is if you look at the mini-map. All the Protoss are going home, right? So this is really, really powerful if there was a follow-up over here. But I don't think Quimsy's at that point from a supply standpoint. Little bit of probe transferring. Both players just trying to like lick their wounds. And here comes Navane again. Zealots effectively eating up these mines. Boom. Getting on top of these tanks. Once these tanks go down, with this army, if he decides to push up here, it's lights out for this base. But it looks like Navane wants more. He wants to keep pushing. He wants to get into this natural. Now, Navane might be going for the throat here. A lot of Zealots dying. Haven't seen much for Storms. I didn't notice if there was EMPs going off. You can look here too. No production happening for our Terran player. And there is a little bit of a bank, but I think right now it's a lot of microing. It's a lot of trying to fend off this attack when there's really 3 avenues of approach, right? There's up here into this base, there's this main intersection, there's this third base that needs to be defended at almost all costs. And here it's going to get flanked and, you know, breaking down some of the defenses that were here at the intersection. And this Protoss army is going to get cleaned up, but you can see the supply. Like, this base needed to be held. Same with the 3 o'clock. Both of those are so important right now at this stage in the game, and Protoss is looking pretty healthy with the number of bases that they've been able to secure. Okay, this will get cleaned up, and we have another wave coming. I'm liking the mixture of units as well. I like that there's an Arbiter, we got Dragoons, the Zealots have been doing a ton of work, and Navane really likes using them too. Just like every Protoss player, but it seems to be something that Navane continues to use, whether it's in drops, in combination with Arbiters. Alright, this CC is going to go down. More Vultures heading out. Going to snipe off this High Templar, which is good. Every little bit helps. And now this is the moneymaker. That's it. This is the only mining that's happening for our Terran right now. Vulture's going to try to get in, but Navane's not playing any games. He's got cannons all over the place at each and every base. A big old bundle. I'm really curious if he's gonna try to go for a recall. I don't know if he has strong awareness of what's left. Right? He's almost maxed out. Terran player is sitting at 50 supply. This may be one of those situations where it's like, I don't quite know how to close this out. He's looking for additional bases. Navane knows that he is miles ahead. He owns the whole map. He has it all. He's got vision of what he doesn't, like, physically own. Right now we've just got more tanks and vultures. I wouldn't have been mad to see a drop. Maybe like a surprise drop. I don't know how much damage it would do. Good EMPs, by the way. Hit that Arbiter. That's going to prevent, like, stasises from really shutting down this defense. And it looks like maybe Quimsy might be able to scare this away. Even if this A moved, it would win. Navane can just A move and win right now. But without having vision up here, because the Science Vessels and the Goliaths kind of pushing back the observers and everything, all he knows is that Dragoons are dying to tanks. So, win ahead, keep getting ahead. When in doubt. But in this moment, definitely could just A move and win. Alright. Alright, pulling pretty much most of the Terran army up to this base. Quimsy knows this base is the only thing keeping him alive. He also knows that that's not going to cut it. He needs to expand back here again. Now, Dragoon versus CC, Dragoon wins every time. We'll see how this goes if he gets a defense. Vulture's trying to poke out because he needs to see what's going on. He needs to get more probe kills. He needs to slow this down somehow in some way. And right now, he's so mineral starved. He needs more minerals so he can keep up with the production of his buildings. Now, CC realizes, hey, I don't have guns. Dragoons do. I'm going to have to fly away. And there's just this giant seam of Protoss going up the map. Completely contained. I really feel like Nevain's just waiting for Quimsy to leave. And I don't even blame him. We're at 31 minutes. This has been a long game. Like, honestly, I just build some carriers, you know what I mean? Like, build some carriers, fly in, end this. Arbiters are a good way, too. Okay, here's the dropship. So I was saying, like, there's really few options left for the Terran player. But you know what? This is still wide open. And the vast majority of production is still right here. And there's almost no way for Dragoons to walk here. So if some tanks got here, you could kill the Stargates. And then slowly creep your way in. Now, you're not going to slow down mining or economy, but if you slow down production, that can give you the window of opportunity to start making some progress. Now, of course, easier said than done. From the Terran perspective, like, we can even look at it right now. Like, everywhere he goes, there's just Protoss army everywhere. And because science vessels are limited, you know there's even more than you see because Arbiters are keeping everything cloaked. It's a very scary position. And that base finally mined out. Wow. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, maybe I'm a wuss, but I probably would have just left already. All right, so drop ends up going over here, which I like, right? So we're going against the anti-economy kind of method, right? Like going up here, as I was saying, that's to try to get some of the existing production. But this is where the money, the leftover money is, right? So if you get in front of the expanding opponent, you can really start slowing down the possible resources. And these are the next bases that he would be able to go to get his own money, right? So he really doesn't want these mined out. Because if these get mined out, then the only remaining opportunity is this. And again, as we talked, Command Center loses to Dragoon every time. But luckily, he brought some Vulture friends. Vultures will knock that out. Probably get some mines up here. Probably get schwacked by this. But this is the focus for the Terran player. Hold defensively that intersection and the 3 o'clock and try to get here. And I think Nevain's starting to realize as well, hey, if I can keep the Terran from getting this base, then this 99 will never go above 99. Yeah, Quimsy really making Nevain work for this, for sure. And man, yeah, if Nevain wins this, it means there's a third game. And I think that would mean that this is definitely the longest cast I've ever had to do. Look, I think this Arbiter is just literally on patrol. Actually, this one might be going in for a recall? Or maybe sitting there just in case he needs to recall if the CC goes there. But yeah, we're really in a situation where it's just like, how do we end this? There we go. A recall got off. The factories start going down. Yeah. And then there's an Arbiter over here to do another one as well, as things start floating over here. Not a whole lot to say. Protoss is running through. There's very little opportunity, I feel like, for Quimsy to come back. If this recalls a bunch of Protoss units over here, like, that's it, right? Like, that's just done. Lots and lots of mines. Oof. Huge bank. Yeah, this was definitely just an exercise in endurance. I feel like because it was a series play, you know, Quimsy's really maybe just tiring out his opponent, tiring out Nevane. Because I don't see a world where he's going to come back. I think this is going to be GG. Dragoons and Zella just going through, killing all the supply depots. So consolidating most of the Terran army here, just north of this expansion. There's still opportunity for kind of this route. There's no production over here, right? I think right now Quimsy's best chance is to kill these off and take them for himself. And then maybe he could come back in the event that Nevane mines out, right? Because Nevane, he's got a huge bank, but there's not much remaining, right? He's got a few minerals here and then this base. The vast majority of his mining is happening from the bottom left. So if Nevane can push this, then there's no chance of coming back. This is really the last-ditch effort and main opportunity for our Terran player to have a chance. Factories are going down. We're supply blocked at 30 max supply. Huge stasis. And it looks like Protoss is just battling through. Once that supply, yeah, once the science vessel went down, nothing can see. And yeah, Quimsy GG's, holy cow. All right, what a banger of round two. Okay, so both players are at 1 win. And let's go into round three. Let's find out who actually makes it into the finals from these two players. Free game, up 1 level, game 3, Quinn Nevane, sweet, sweet. All right, we are on Polestar. 4-player map. See if we what we get. All right, so it looks like Nevane, our red Protoss, is up in the top right. Quimsy, blue Terran, bottom right. So same spawn that we saw last game. Things to note about Polestar. Natural, eggs defend, eggs in a small choke. There is a gas expand that is kind of like the natural third location, but there's also a gas expand up here at the 12 and 6 o'clock that I expect we'll see come into play. Now these are pretty small bases, but kind of a natural progression from, you know, either the natural going up there or, you know, hitting this one first. Okay, cool. That's pretty much the map. In the middle, there's some minerals, but nothing crazy, and you'll very rarely ever see those taken. So let's see, and I don't know, maybe for my throat's sake, let's hope this is a quicker game. Let's see how this goes. So we have a pylon, real crazy. We have a supply depot, excellent choice, and both players are just getting their feet underneath them. Now, I am really curious to see, because this is series play and they get to, you know, prepare for their opponents. I'm curious to see if either of these players had prepared any type of cheese against the other. Because I would imagine after going through like a 40-minute match that we just did, that would probably be the time to bust it out. Or that you'd expect the opponent to bust it out. I don't know. Anyway, we've got Quimsy going very standard. Supply Depot, Barracks, Nevane, opting for, it looks like a cross scout right off the rip. Gateway and gas. With the early gas, that tells me he's probably going to go Cybernetics Core early as well and kind of go into a standard early Dragoon range kind of play that he has been doing. Now, this may be a little bit of a... Where's he going with this? Did he get the second supply depot? Oh, yeah, there it is. All right, so second supply depot, refinery going down. Nothing crazy, and he's going to start scouting, probably hitting bottom left and then hitting top right, which is pretty common scouting pattern against Protoss on this map. All right, and the probe did see the SCV coming from that location and is going to know that Quimsy is down here in the bottom right. Going to pop out a couple Marines. This one is going to get out in time. Probably not fast enough to block the ramp, but will help in killing this probe off pretty quickly. All right, we're actually going to start the Zealot trickle, and we do see the Cybernetics Core go down. All right, probe going to get blasted away. Still going to come in the bunker being generated here pretty early. I think I guess we do have 3 Marines. And unfortunately, you know, that probe actually pulled them away. Good SCV block right there. That really is going to prevent anything from happening from this Zealot. Like, well, I guess funny enough, the Marines run into the bunker, and then the Zealot has full reign of the base. So here they come again. That's awesome. And this Zealot is going to get the kill on this SCV. Oh, good. The SCV runs away. But this is going to delay the factory a little bit. Now, the three Marines are going to knock this out. Okay, so the Zealot's just kind of running away, being annoying. But a second one comes. Second Zealot says, what's up? And Nevane's getting good, annoying harassment from these Zealots. Oh, bummer. A little tough to micro there. I'm wondering if maybe having that second Zealot run in would have been helpful. Did keep a Marine in the bunker. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Helps get some of those pot shots off. So a good amount of mining time lost. Factory is going to get down, but it is delayed. And that is going to enable Dragoon range to get up at a very respectable time. And Dragoons start pumping. Now, here it is, Dragoon out. Built a couple Zealots. Excuse me. And he's not yet complete with his Nexus. So Nexus does go down. A little bit later than I think he wanted. But SCV did a pretty good job of jumping in there. So both players really on point with their harassment. Being annoying to one another. Slowing down each other's plans. Second gateway. Nexus going up. I think this SCV is just looking for random proxies. I don't think this guy's going to... Oh, he did. He built a starport. All right, so we're probably going to see then is a drop. Now, we see him building a tank initially. You know, we've seen before is kind of like vultures would come up here. Build up a dropship of 4 vultures. Hop it right over the wall. And you can do some pretty significant economic damage if your opponent's not prepared for that. But he does need the tank because Dragoons with range are coming down. So he at least needs that to push them away from this bunker. Otherwise, the Dragoons will eventually knock it out and be a bad day. So here comes the tank. Dragoons haven't started shooting at this. We haven't started the Protoss Terran dance. And I wonder if that's in anticipation of the Terran moving out and catch them off guard. Okay, he's just trying to get the right distance. Picks off a Marine. Tank comes up. This needs to probably move. Tank's gonna do some damage. Picks off the Vulture. So far, good engagement for Protoss. Good movement on that Dragoon. Finally getting it back. Gotta be careful with that Zealot. Ooh, nice pick by the tank. Pokes out, snipes it from right around that egg. Robo facility going down. I don't think these are mining. Oh crap. That sucks. Okay, it was just recognized. Okay, I would have been something that like I would have do is not notice that for like a half hour. I'd play like an entire game and I'd watch the replay and I'd be like, what was going on? I'd realize I have like 12 workers just, I don't know, repairing themselves. All right, Quimsy's getting after it, getting the vultures out on the map. Gonna start laying mines, being annoying. Going straight for the tank this time. Oh, the mine is huge! Oh my gosh! He just lost 2 Dragoons directly to the mine and then a third one that got knocked out shortly afterwards. That was early game changing. If he had knocked out that tank, he could have backed up with those Dragoons or maybe brought a couple more down and really just hammered that bunker out of the way. Also, I'd like to point out, drop going on. The starport just chilling. This is going to be a complete surprise. And it is going to do... Oh, where's he going? Oh, I love it. Good. Get the mines out in front of the gateway. Anything that gets built is just going to blow up. This Dragoon, bye. And then he goes in and just starts murking these probes. So, great damage. Well worth it. And we'll see if the starport stays there, if he ends up floating it back to the house. The house? What is this? The home base? Main base. We'll see if this ends up staying there. It still hasn't been identified, right? This observer may go find it. But really, as far as Navain knows, that came from the main and just snuck up the outside. So might as well keep it. Academy and Engineering Bay going down, trying to get some of that detection, some of the opportunity to build turrets for any type of reciprocal drops. We do have Citadel of Adun being constructed, which means that we'll be seeing Zealot legs and more of the norm from Navain. Navain's getting up on that third base real nice and quick with some pylon walls. So we did already see some drop play. Forge is going down as well, which is going to help with getting some cannons constructed, etc. But we have seen some drop play. So we've seen Quimsy drop tanks behind kind of these pylon walls before. So I wouldn't be shocked to see something like that again. Going for another vulture drop. And again, this is going to be wild. He's going to get so much damage with this again. Probe's going down like crazy. No mine's been dropped yet either. So this time, if units do come out or they come back to fight, he can kind of drop mines as he runs or drop them here on the ramp. Yeah, there you go. That's going to do, you know, some good damage. It's going to maybe bang up some of these Dragoons. Didn't end up working out that way, but these vultures are also going to provide value by showing that, hey, guess what? New drop location just opened. You gonna kill this? No way. He got the kill on that cannon. That was huge. These probes could honestly probably just kill these vultures. They are so low. 5 hit points, 20 hit points. But that'll take them basically a year to kill that, so... Navain getting to see where the starport used to be, and will be killing the control tower. Where did the starport go? Is it dead? Did you like sneak around and kill it at some point? Yeah, maybe it's dead. I totally missed it getting killed. I don't believe it's dead. Where the heck is it? Okay. Sure, I'll find it later. Okay, perfect. So this is exactly what I was saying. So Quimsy likes doing this, right? You're gonna wall something off? Cool, I'll just put something behind the wall. We're gonna see this dropship go up and around, drop a tank and some vultures. And right now it's kind of a race against the clock as to whether or not this cannon's gonna be done in time. And it won't be. It won't be done in time. And it's gonna go off. And I think it's going to do pretty catastrophic damage here. Especially combined with these vultures. Now, these aren't being microed yet, but they're going to start to be microed. The siege is going to go up. And last time we saw this on the last map, the siege went up, but there was no support, right? It was just 2 tanks. They got ran up on by probes, and then they died. But this time with the vulture, like probes aren't gonna be able to touch this. So Whimsy just completely took the 12 o'clock base with one drop. Drop some mines, and this is gonna be done. This is gonna be gone. And so now Navane needs to make something happen, needs to get some damage of his own. He's been kind of on the back foot, kind of in the defensive this entire time. Right now sitting at like a worker deficit. And unfortunately, this is pretty heavily defended, right? So needs to find some sort of way to sneak around like the back, do like a backstab. But you know what? Hey, this was really good timing. And Whimsy didn't defend this with units, didn't drop turrets or anything, so this base is just going to get pushed off. I don't think there's enough here to kill it, not even a little bit. But Quimsy's doing his own backstab, right? Like, hi, I have vultures still. I'm going to drive straight into your base. Now, there is a cannon here. The cannon eventually will kill all these vultures, especially with these zealots. But the probe damage is not insignificant. Like, I kind of wish this was StarCraft 2 replay in the sense that I would love to pull up and be like, hey, workers killed. You've lost a lot of workers. And right now, I think we might be waiting to see if these zealots will come all the way up here and kill this. Yeah. Princess army coming back. Killed the vulture. Get out of here, vulture. But now we're going to see the real push. Now we're going to see the real frontal attack. And I'm incorrect, actually. He's just securing his ability to expand to the third base. So he's going to need to get up here, drop some mines up here, probably put some tanks up here. Wow, so many mines. You can just hear them. Mine drop, mine drop, mine drop. A lot of tanks down here too. I don't think this is structured right now for an attack. Like the zealots are a little out of position. Probably best to just pull back, regroup, hit it from a different like angle. There's so many mines over here. Now he does have observers. He's got the dragoons. He can clear them, or he can just run some zealots through. Storm on the way for our Protoss players, sitting at 6 gateways. 5 factories. What is this? Number 2. Vehicle plating and weapons being upgraded. Ah, there you are. I knew there was the starport was still around. Science vessel is up, so we can get expanded upgrades. I think these actually might be. Yeah, 2-2's actually on the way. No upgrades on dragoons. No upgrades on the zealots as of yet. Zealots tanking the mines here. Did check up and see if the 6 o'clock was taken. It is not. That was a huge mine hit. Oh my goodness, 4 dragoons. Wow, so many mines. Holy cow. You know, I didn't see how this was retaken. I don't know, maybe the tanks like blew up the pylons and then the Protoss was able to just like run up there with some zealots. But killing the forge would even prevent further upgrades from happening, even though I think upgrades might have been they're a little tight right now for Navane. All right, solidifying this position. These little expansions are so tiny. Look at this. You have enough room for like a CC and 2 turrets, and that's it. So small. All right, Protoss regrouping here in the middle. We are seeing a Stargate being constructed. So, I'm curious to see if what we see from Navane is more Arbiter type play. Looks like he is getting ready to expand to a 4th base. Vultures skulking about. Quimsy's really good about this. I've been enjoying watching some of like his methods, and being good with vultures is definitely a skill. They are finicky and so powerful if microed correctly. Oh my goodness. Before the Nexus gets down, which would have been huge if it did get down, because vultures, like, it would take them forever to get rid of it. But dropping this mine, killing that probe, I love this little hiding spot. This probe's like, don't look at me, I'm a lamp, right? He's just like trying to pretend to be a lamp or hiding under this glass mushroom looking thing. Alright, Dragoon's thinking about helping. They'll go up there any moment and clear them out. There we go. Oh my gosh, are they going to see this? They don't. Haha. Oh, but they do! Oh no! He saw it just in the last minute. Oh, that sucks. The nearest probe is like way over here. Yeah, he's going to have to send some more. Now, how do these hiding spots work? We've literally got like a crazy game of Protoss, Terran, hide and seek going on. Meanwhile, there's like a huge battle over here, but the hide and seek has me so fascinated. Okay, good. Hide and seek complete. Fight over here in the middle, ongoing. Protoss trying to seal off kind of like this top half of the map, which he really needs to do. Because he needs to start expanding. And he needs to stop this vulture harass. Arbiter Tribunal going down. Somewhere. Beep. Nope. Beep. Beep. There it is. The Arbiters are the play. Vultures somehow surviving. They're just so fast. Mines everywhere. Tanks. Lots of them. Right now, I'd say Quimsy's got the lead. I think he's got a very powerful army, and I think Navane needs to be careful here. I think if Quimsy just lets Navane attack, Quimsy wins. Right? Like, I don't think Navane's at a point where he can attack into this, and honestly, a Terran in this position wants you to attack. Trying to get this base up, does float the CC away, knowing that, you know, this is not kind of a part of the defensive network yet. But you know what? If Quimsy was feeling squirrely, he probably could have just trapped that army right there. Moving forward, realizing, a little out of position, but the mines are gonna, you know, get rid of a lot of these zealots. Shockingly, not blowing up any of his own tanks. And I think, okay, so now that he pushed the Protoss army back, he also has vultures running around in the base. Now, I didn't see if that was a drop. It was. So, more vulture drops, this time with more mines, and coming up here to kill more probes after they take out this pesky cannon. And it looks like they're just kind of auto-attacking that while there's a fight going on down here. See if the mines start getting dropped. Vultures can be so annoying. So there's a way to micro this, right? Where like you move and then like you patrol back and then you move again. It can be a little challenging when you're trying to micro all over the place, but you can basically do that indefinitely to these zealots. But with these Dragoons around, like, they're just going to get picked off. So, glad to see that they're dropping their mines. Get that value before they're knocked out. These Vultures now unaware if this ever gets taken as an expansion or as a launching point for drops. And so the Vulture's going to come up here. Too many cannons to really make anything happen there. Gosh dang, these Vultures doing good work. Oof. Good mines. Uh-oh. Probe transfer. Ambush in the waiting. We'll see if this gets ambushed. I'll keep an eye on the map. Oh my gosh, the timing there was perfect. Yep, they are going to get ambushed. But huge fight happening over here. There's just not enough from Navane. Like, these tanks are just going to blow up all of this. Does push him back. Does push him back. And so now this base I would say is secure. So like earlier we were, you know, where we watched him kind of like float the CC away, it was because he didn't hold this, but he has this now. Quimsy has this, so this base is kind of secure, right? Terran owns this bottom right corner, and two of those bases are still mining. The main's basically mined out. Now, due to the loss of probes, the main for Nivane still has some cash. He has the natural. He's got 12 o'clock, and he's got up here at the 11 and about to get the 10. So, still keeping up. But I think Nivane needs to find other ways of harassing and containing the Terran. Because there are just so many tanks here. Now, I think the Arbiter idea, I know he has Storm. I haven't seen a whole lot of Templar, though. But if he gets good stasises off, like last game, this could basically turn into last game, right? Another 40-minute slog where Protoss really does just overwhelm and stasis the tanks down to where they can't participate in the fight. Now, fighting down here in the low ground, taking some tank hits. I think this might be a little bit distracting. Really good drop, actually, because this is, we were talking, that's really where most of the money is, and it's just going to sit there and take out those probes. And I think the economic damage throughout this game, like the amount of probes lost, has really been a large factor into why Quimsy is in such a great position right now. So Quimsy's tank line really fending that off. All the probes stuck up here doing nothing because there's a couple tanks here. Protoss trying to run over here, and Nivane wants to clear that out so he can get mining back up and running again. But he has to go through this annoying ramp. Oh my gosh, he got a Dragoon right up next to the tanks, but then that pesky Vulture ended up knocking him out. Protoss is in a tough spot. Like, even taking this through this own ramp is proving to be very difficult. Like, there's not much of an army left, and it's all up here in this clumped position. And we see this wild tank army moving towards the natural. This is huge. And all of this is moving to the top left. A little out of position. So much army here. With a science vessel, the Arbiter and its cloak ability will be taken out. EMP completely drains it of energy. And so no stasises are going to be seen from this one. Goliaths knock out the Arbiter, which I think really was the biggest chance here. These Storms can still get some done, but the Templar end up going down as well. And that's a GG. All right. So congratulations. Quimsy beats Nivane 2-1 and will make it to the finals through the winner's bracket. And so what that means for Quimsy is that Quimsy will start in the finals with 1 victory. Nivane will then go to the semifinals for the loser's bracket, so not out of it just yet. So still more to see from Nivane. And yeah, anyway, great job, both players. Definitely the longest video so far. This is about a 90-minute video. And yeah, join StarCraft Underground, and you can play with Nivane and Quimsy. Thanks for watching.